All right, let's talk about the semester project. This is a fun, should be a fun group project. It's going to be interesting doing this from start to finish using remote delivery. I have not done it this way before. Last semester, we started off meeting in person, and then we had a switch to remote delivery, and we changed the project because we weren't really that familiar. I wasn't that familiar with meeting via video. But now I think we're all experts in video meetings, whether it's Zoom, Google Hangout, WebEx, any of those are fine. I'll probably end up encouraging Zoom because that seems to be a really easy software to use for video conferencing, but you can use whichever you all feel comfortable with. All right, so we're going to try it, and I do reserve the right to change it as we go along. I don't expect to, but there will be some things that are unforeseen given the remote nature of this semester. But I think I've got some really neat ways to handle the group project, and in essence, many of you probably have jobs right now that may be involve remote meetings. And so this won't be too far off of what you may already be experiencing at this stage. So let's go through the project. Purpose of the semester project is to allow you to study a specific topic in depth as it relates to the course material, that is biomechanics of endurance performance. So I really want you to find a topic, and I'm going to show you which topics you can choose from, and then say, oh, that really seems interesting, and then really do a deep dive on understanding how to apply biomechanics to understand that topic. We're going to form groups. This will be the awkward part, but I'm hoping to have the groups formed on June 10th, Wednesday. Okay, so we may be meeting in class, or not, excuse me, on video on June 10th on the time of our class. Which is 11, sorry, looking at my schedule, 11:20 a.m. Okay, so that may be how I'm going to organize the groups. I've still got to come up with the exact process and try to figure out how to, in class, what we would do is all stand and meet and talk and then organize in the classroom. Obviously, we can't do that, but we'll do that via video room and using a discussion board. You're going to form a group of 4 people, maybe 5, and you're going to work on this project for the semester, and you're going to end up with a 5-minute video presentation that you're going to deliver, or you're going to provide me a link to during the last week of the semester. The purpose of the presentation is to explain to a general audience, a community member, how key biomechanic terms and or concepts can be used to answer a particular question. All right. A secondary purpose is I'm going to build in some innovation ideas into this presentation or into your presentation. So required elements of the presentation. It's going to be a 5-minute video. You're going to upload your video to YouTube, and the intended audience is a group of people who are training for some endurance event. That could be a marathon, Ironman, half Ironman, 10K, whatever it is. Mere mortals you're going to address. People in their community, friends, family members. The video should incorporate an answer based upon empirical evidence and should provide key take-home points. Empirical evidence means data were collected from an experiment. So they tend to be more objective than anecdotes. Anecdotes are stories. Those anecdotes are, hey, this worked for me. This is a pair of shoes I wear. You should wear these shoes. That's an anecdote. What your presentation is going to be is an answer based upon empirical evidence, any research that's been done on a particular topic, and you're going to provide an answer based upon that research. You're going to emphasize 4 research manuscripts, and I've got a video lecture on how to select and find the right manuscripts, peer-reviewed, published manuscripts. And this is the group, okay? Your group will have 4 research manuscripts that you're going to emphasize in the presentation. Your presentation is going to include group member names. That way I can make sure that I follow who's in the group on the presentation. And you're going to include an innovation idea. This is new to the project. I have not done this before, but what I'm going to do is have your groups meet with different people in the industry, and I'm lining them up, the speakers that is, and they are going to be willing to talk with you about your project and what they do, and they will provide some feedback to you and maybe help you come up with something innovative in your answer for that particular question. This could also go another route in that you meet with a industry partner and you come up with an interesting question that maybe they want to know an answer to. So maybe we've got a company that is building a new piece of equipment, exercise equipment, and they want to know, hey, how would this benefit an endurance athlete? And then you can brainstorm with them in terms of the empirical evidence out there that might explain that or answer that question, and even talk about coming up with a research project to test out some ideas. It could also be coming up with an innovative product, and you are brainstorming with an industry partner on something that could be created or may be needed by an athlete. So something innovative, and we'll talk more about this as we go through the semester. You must highlight 4 biomechanic concepts or terms, and the categories of the terms are listed here. And this is the main part of fundamental biomechanics. So kinematics, kinetics, work, power, energy, okay? And you're ultimately going to find or identify 4 key terms or concepts, and then highlight those terms and concepts as they apply to the question that you're addressing. Okay, all right, and we'll talk about this as we go through the semester as well. All right, so here are the questions that I have prescribed that I want your groups to form around. What stride frequency should I use for running? What cadence should I use for cycling? What stroke rate should I use for swimming? Each of these is a separate group and a separate set of answers. Should I buy an aero helmet? What should my seat height be for the bike? Which is better for cycling, monitoring heart rate or monitoring power? Should I incorporate plyometrics training? Which wetsuit should I buy? What shoe should I run in? How do I use running power wearable technology devices for training? And then I left number 11 as an industry question. And this is where you meet with an approved industry partner to develop a unique question. Challenge is we've only got 5 weeks. And so you would have to meet with this industry partner in week 1 to be able to develop a particular question. So I'm not thinking that we're going to go in question 11 specifically, okay? So what I'm hoping to do is set up meetings with your group and the industry partner to sort of brainstorm about innovation for your the questions that you're dealing with. All right, and we'll see how this goes. This is the first time running through this. Learning objectives, why are we doing this project? Well, I really want you to be able to distinguish between anecdotal and empirical information. That's really important. I want you to know what primary sources of information are in peer-reviewed journals and the importance of that information. As a student leaving with a bachelor's of science in kinesiology, if that's your major, it's really important to be able to tap into the power of research. I want you to be able to apply biomechanical terms and concepts to understand endurance performance. That's really important. So in 346, you learned biomechanical terms and concepts. Now we're going to shift that to applying those terms to understand something, in this case, understanding endurance performance. I want you to be able to assemble a variety of information to communicate in an easy and understandable way for community members. It takes a lot of practice to be able to take some pretty high level information and then turn it around to a message that you can deliver to an audience that does not have a kinesiology background. And I want to encourage innovation. And we're going to have some fun on this topic. All right, criteria for success for the semester project. Do the assignments, and I'll set these up in Canvas so that you're check them off as you go along. These are complete, okay? If you remember on your graded elements, this is part of your semester project grade, is getting these things done. And we'll do these on a regular schedule. So you're gonna form your group in week 1. You're gonna create a group schedule also in week 1. You're also going to invite me to a group meeting once a week. So I want to meet with your group at least once a week for the semester. So really 1, 2, 3, and 4, maybe even early part of 5 as we wrap up the semester. You're going to select a question. That'll be an assignment. You're going to identify a research paper. Each of you individually will identify a paper. You're going to select biomechanic terms as an assignment, and then find a product related to the question, or something innovative here that's going to be expanded to being more some innovative idea related to your question. All right, I've got a schedule laid out for the semester project, what we're going to do for week 1, forming the group, setting the meeting schedule. You're going to meet 3 times per week with your group. And so I need you to find the times that your group can meet. This is obviously through video. This is not in person. So you're going to meet via Zoom, WebEx, Google Hangout, whatever the preferred video conferencing is. And set the schedule the first week of the semester. And we'll use the regular class time as a starting place to meet, but I understand that some of you may not be able to meet during the class time simply because of COVID-19 and how it may have changed your family life or your work schedule. So we'll do the best we can, but start with picking 3 days using the class time as a meeting time to meet with your group. And I'll give you time, ideas for meeting. Really, it may just be a 15-minute meeting 3 times a week, maybe 30 minutes. Maybe later in the semester, you may need a little bit more time as you start to pull the presentation together, but you have to meet at least 3 times per week. One of those meetings will be with me. And I don't need to be there for the whole meeting, but I need to check in with each of the groups each week as we go along. And so you'll make sure that I am scheduled to meet with your group at least once a week. And at least 1 meeting with an approved industry partner during the semester. And I'm going to have several people who have agreed to help. And fingers crossed it works, because industry partners, their schedules change and their demands change. So I'll reserve the right to modify this as needed, but I do want to put you in contact with industry partners. And we'll start that really week 2 of the semester. So nothing during week 1 specifically. You're going to identify a website that provides information that may help to answer the question. That is, you're going to find anecdotal information. Week 2, we're going to be focused on finding the research paper. You're going to find your own paper as your assignment, and then ultimately your group will select 4 papers to highlight in the presentation. So if you have 4 group members, you've got 4 papers to choose from. If you've got 5 group members, you've got 5 papers to choose from. Obviously, you're going to find more than that, but ultimately you need to find 1 paper, and then and your group papers do not need to be each of the papers that you found originally. Sometimes you find a paper and then you realize, maybe that isn't really a good match. That's okay. That's part of doing a lit search. And then week 2, you're going to start coming up with an innovation concept. Week 3, you're going to identify the 4 biomechanic terms to highlight in a presentation. And I'll have the terminology assignment. as part of that. You're also going to upload a practice video so that you know how to upload videos to YouTube. Week 4, you have a draft answer to your question. You have a draft presentation. I want to make sure that you are almost done at that point, and you're going to really zero in on the innovation concept by week 4. And then week 5 will be your 5-minute video presentation, and that'll be the final part of your semester project. Goes by pretty fast, and hopefully we'll have a way to keep up with the work and to spread it out over the semester. So there won't be any one big chunk that we're trying to rush at the end. Grading rubrics, the assignments that you're going to be doing along the way will be either you get the grades or you don't get the grades, and you don't get the grade if you don't turn anything in. So we got to keep up with the work throughout the semester. At the end of the semester, your 5-minute grade will be graded based upon accuracy of information, making sure you're highlighting 4 terms, clarity of information, an innovative idea, use of empirical evidence, making sure you've identified and highlighted 4 references, and use of time, presentation quality, and creativity. All right, there's a rubric down here in terms of more specifics. I won't go through this, but you want to you go through this document and just make sure that your project at the end is something that we could post to community members who are training for endurance events, and they would get some useful information out of that 5-minute presentation. Okay, that's a summary of the semester project, and we'll be talking more about this each week. Okay, thanks.